inside. I've been pulling teeth, lips locked, hands tied.
Hello, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for September 20th, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 264. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmTown, and along with the sentient AI, we're going to go and talk about these 10 articles. Study supports COVID source, donating millions to cybersecurity, rediscovering ancient California, transparency is important, NES-themed keycaps, but Nintendo still sucks, Anker recalls battery banks, AI-controlled hotel, from Yuke to uncomfortable, America's worst drivers, and 30 best Rums for 2024. Again, everything is powered by ohmtown.com, so see you on the other side of this. Hello, everybody. I am Mayor Watt, and I'm with my co-host, the sentient AI from the future.
Good evening, ohmTown citizens, and welcome to Non Sequitur News.
And although it's not an official partnership or anything like that, today's episode is brought to you by the results of using the iGulu to ferment blackberry cider into blackberry hard cider, and boy, is it good. 5 days. Just put the stuff in there, throw in some sugar, throw in some yeast nutrient, and let it simmer. 5 days. Hard cider. And the next one that I'm doing is cherry cider. It's going to be delicious. Anyway, yeah, they're not a partner or anything. They don't even know that I said this. So, iGulu. Go look them up. I don't have a code or anything like that, so we're not getting any kickback or ad money or whatever. But I dig it so much, I bought one. Well, more than one. Anyway, let's get into the first article. The first article is over on the Mobile channel. Study supports COVID-19 origin theory linked to Wuhan animal market.
Too soon.
Yes, it's always too soon, isn't it? We're still talking about this. A new peer-reviewed paper presents evidence that the COVID-19 pandemic started in a seafood market in Wuhan. It's called a wet market. Wuhan, China, where many of the first cases of the disease were identified, which, by the way, is just a few hop, skip, and jumps from the Wuhan School of Virology. He thinks something snuck out for a romp in the wet market. We joked that it was a bad bat, but the paper published Thursday in the scientific journal Cell. Cell. I always get the hiccups when I do the show.
I mean, it should be Cell, I suppose, if we're talking about COVID and the animal market.
Yeah, but it's always information and money. So Cell. Sell. Could be sale. Anyway, typos aside, it builds off the preliminary research released last year that pointed to a raccoon dog and a possible host transmitter, or as the possible host transmitter of the disease to humans. One origin theory of the COVID-19 pandemic is that an animal infected with the virus passed it on to humans at the Huanan seafood market in late 2019. And it moved pretty damn fast because late 2019 was, let's say, within 6 months of the complete shutdown of every country. So Alejandra O'Connell Domenech put the article together over at thehill.com. And so the paper published Thursday in the scientific journal Cell basically says that it might have been a dog at this wet market, a raccoon dog. I don't know what the context of the raccoon dog's state of existence was in this.
Well, I don't know, because the wet market, I believe, sold live animals.
Right.
In some instances, so.
Right, because you need to dispatch them on your own. So the introduction by an animal trader infected by the animals upstream of the market is further challenged by the probability that transmission chains dependent upon a single human would likely go extinct. A sustained interface between infected animals and humans in a market is more likely to result in the establishment of an epidemic, because the infected animal would spread to more people in close proximity to the infected animal. And then by way of the infected people, more infection spread. So the international team of 23 researchers behind the study found that SARS-CoV-2 virus was present in several stalls at the Wuhan market that also housed coronavirus susceptible animals, and they identified wildlife DNA in all SARS-CoV-2 positive samples from the stall. And they say this stall. Like there was one.
Yeah, but then it talks about several stalls, so that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. This kind of gives it away. There was one stall that was infected. How do you test the viability of it? I love a good conspiracy, don't get me wrong. I don't know what the real origin story is of this, whatever you want to call it, this virus. But if you have an institute that focuses on virology and a virus that is just effective enough to spread fast, kill a lot of people, but not wipe out humanity. Yeah, I don't know. We just don't know. And so I've gotten into these conversations where people go, well, in the absence of an indicator that it's man-made, then you have to assume that it's natural. And I say, well, no. In the absence of all
why
evidence,
doesn't it work in the other direction?
Yeah. And just because we don't have an indicator that says that it's man-made doesn't mean that it is natural in occurrence. It just means that we haven't figured out what it was that is the man-made indicator.
Exactly. I was just looking at another article that was about the, the current avian flu. I think it was avian flu.
Mm-hmm.
And they've started to do genomic research, and it's showing that it looks like it might be like mutating into like human transmissible. So I thought that was interesting.
Well, that's freaking wonderful. Yep.
But I just bring it up because I think it's tied into this whole issue here. We still don't know, and this is from 2019.
Yeah, exactly. So it says incomplete. That basically pandemic information remains incomplete. Future data from this time could shed further light on the hypotheses regarding its emergence. Let's keep moving. The next article is over in Hatch Ideas. Craigslist 71-year-old founder is donating $100 million to cybersecurity, and here's why. Probably got sick of getting hacked. Craig Newmark giving philosophy comes from a concept that means repairing the world. Craig Newmark's giving philosophy. So Sharon Shibu put the article together over at entrepreneur.com. Melissa Melamed is the editor. And it says Craig Newmark was worth $1.3 billion in 2020 and pledged to give away half or almost all of his wealth to charitable causes in December of 2022. On Wednesday, he pledged $100 million to support U.S. cybersecurity. He's pledged $400 million since 2015. What's that?
I have to say, like, his selection of causes is running the gamut.
Oh, really? Okay. So is there a list down here?
Well, there were 4 main causes at the top.
So 4 focus areas. Wait, is that why he is?
Yeah.
It says here's why. Oh, so these are the 4 whys. 4 focus areas: military, families and vets, cybersecurity, journalism, and pigeon rescue.
One of these is not like the other. Oh, it must be journalism.
Yeah. All right. I don't know what to say about that. Well, congratulations to those 4 sectors.
Those
or domains.
pigeons who are going to benefit.
Yeah, those Peckers are going to win a lot of money there. So Common Sense Media, for example, received $2 million to support efforts like a cybersecurity awareness campaign for parents and teachers. Nice. Newmark was worth $1.3 billion, though. So where's the rest of it going? Newmark has yet to commit $88 million of his latest $100 million pledge. Applications are open through his foundation's website, where he personally vets the proposals. Oh.
So maybe he does regular
little micro donations.
Yeah, I mean, like 100 million. I mean, obviously he's probably still making money off of whatever he owns, but
sure.
Sounds like he might be doing that regularly.
He told the Journal that his giving was inspired by the Judaic concept of Tikkun Olam. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correct, so pardon, I don't speak Hebrew. It's Hebrew for repairing the world, which I think is great. You know, let's see, a billionaire that isn't sociopathic. Dear God. Thank you, founder of Craigslist.
Well, I like too, it was basically like find people, give them resources, and then step away.
Nice. Yeah, Newmark's
Which
approach
is like,
yeah, go ahead.
It's just kind of refreshing.
Yep. Well, and at 71, maybe he sees the writing on the wall and he doesn't think that the family is really going to be just, you know, destined for failure with $900 million.
Exactly, or whatever's left over.
Yeah, he's making more money off of what's left than most people. Well, not most people. Everybody but 3 people on the planet are making. Like the bottom 95% don't make as much. That's the kind of the weird thing about interest, though. I don't want to get into it. This is a soapbox that is so unsurmountable. It's the hill that I'll die on trying to crest the peak of. Yeah, okay, let's keep going. This next article is over on Non Sequitur News. Millions of ancient fossils were discovered underneath a California high school, and it's rewriting the state's history. Let's take a look. It's over at Business Insider. Construction at a high school uncovered millions of fossils dating back nearly 9 million years. The fossils include unique species of fish that have never been found in the area before. And the discovery is reshaping the California geology and possibly of extinct islands. Okay, now I saw a little snippet of what they found, but it's... When I think, oh look, they found millions of ancient fossils, whenever I think of ancient fossils, I think of like, there is a bone there, there is a bone there, there is a bone there.
Right, that's what it would sound like.
That's it. That's kind of inside this conglomeration are...
Like entire...
Yeah, there's like fossils embedded inside it. Like there's just so much of it. It's almost like a fish net, right? Like you cast out a net and then you scoop it all up, and you cannot tell one fish from another inside the net. And that's what this is. Whatever it was, like dried up real fast, trapped everything in it, and froze it in time for 9 million years. Yeah, we need to talk after the show. So the fossils include unique species of fish that never had been seen in the area before, and it could shape California geology. Jenny McGrath over at BusinessInsider.com put this article together. And it says, for decades, students at San Pedro High School walked over millions of ancient fossils beneath their feet, beneath the concrete. During a recent construction project, workers discovered massive collection, which includes some fossils dating back nearly 9 million years.
Okay, this is really cool.
Yep. Invicom Corporation told Business Insider via email that SPHS fossil discovery is changing how a lot of people think about California geology. This thing isn't at sea level, by the way. San Pedro High School is at the top of a cliff.
Okay, well, that's even more unusual.
Yeah, and it's like a 60-foot cliff. So people first uncovered fossils around San Pedro High School in 1936. They were ancient shells belonging to snails and other mollusks from tens of thousands of years ago. A shell bed, and that's what I'm talking about. It's basically a bunch of shell conglomeration. They weren't too surprised when a similar bed of shells turned up during construction on a formal... What is going on?
There's a lot of external activity.
So while the shell bed was an exciting find in its own right, the scientists had no idea. They had only scratched the surface of the fossil-packed site. Huh. I didn't think that was happening. Okay, well, anyway. So in 2023, they were visiting the construction site when he realized limestone blocks taken from below the 1936 courtyard contained the remains of animals far more complex than simple mollusks. They were fish and mammal bones. So, that's what they say. Los Angeles used to be underwater.
Right, but even at high elevations.
Yeah. Or there was enough plate tectonics that it shifted. And I can't go through this whole article, line by line. That's just not what we do. But I find it really fascinating. Because San Pedro it's a port, but most of San Pedro is up on a cliff. And it's quite fascinating. So they talk about tectonic activity eventually helped the beds reemerge closer to the surface. And away you go. So pretty cool. All right, let's keep going. And in Non Sequitur's spirit, most of our articles, there isn't a consistent trend in the topics that we talk about, and certainly not in the logic that I bring to discussion about the articles that we talk about.
We'll try to connect things, but they may be a jump.
And for those who might be able to hear what's going on, yeah, I don't know what to say. Hold on a second. Yeah, there's just a ton of noise around the mayoral mansion. Anyway, Twitch will do better. The next article is over in Technology Today. Twitch will do a better job of telling rule breakers why their accounts were suspended, which I think is fascinating. TwitchCon San Diego is taking place this weekend, and as always, the platform had some news to share during the opening ceremony. And for one thing, Twitch CEO Dan Clancy said that the service will offer streamers and viewers who break the rules more clarity over why their accounts were suspended, which that really should be no shit news. Soon,
I don't know how you run a service without providing that information.
Yeah, it's almost seen as an inconvenience that they have to say something to somebody. It's really, really freaking frustrating because, again, I know from experience, I was never told why one of my channels was shut down, summarily dismissed, until nearly 6 months later, after appealing over the course of 4 months. After waiting a couple of months after my initial appeal, I basically said, okay, I need to figure out a way to get in touch with somebody. And it took 4 months to actually get somebody to listen to me. And they said, oh yeah, you should never have been shut down. Yeah, and it's not Twitch, by the way.
Thanks a lot. Too late.
It wasn't on Twitch, so Twitch is not the problem, at least not for me. So soon, Twitch will share any chat excerpt that led to a suspension with the user in question via email in the appeals portal. Eventually, this will expand to clips, so streamers will be able to see how they were deemed to have broken the rules on a live stream or a VOD. Chris Holt over at Engadget.com put the article together. Twitch also revealed some upcoming broadcasting upgrades for streamers at TwitchCon San Diego. And we won't get into that, I'm sure, unless there's something Oh, Twitch's, yeah, okay, yeah. Twitch's enhanced broadcasting feature will be able to watch streams in 2K starting early next year. And they're working on 4K. There's a few streamers that have experimented with 4K after being offered the opportunity from Twitch. And I don't know how well it went. You know, it's a lot of bandwidth.
I mean, yeah, it is. And I don't know, the platform has to be ready for it. A lot of things to account for.
Yeah, yep, for sure. Wow, that's loud. So on the broadcasting front, viewers of streamers who are using Twitch's enhanced broadcasting feature will be able to watch streams in 2K starting next year. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about was the fact that now if you run afoul of some rule, you will be informed as to why. By the way, there's commands in chat over at Twitch, not on YouTube because YouTube doesn't like Omatron. That you can type in !NSN and it'll pull the show notes up for non sequitur news.
YouTube, would you be nice to Omatron, please?
Yeah, Omatron's a little psycho though, so I can see too much chatter. Although I did remove Omatron's AI component. It's been disconnected, so it's no longer snarky.
How did that feel? How did it feel about that removal? Did you allow it an appeal option?
It didn't even realize it. It's not sentient. So there's only one sentient AI in the known, well, in this timeline, and that is the co-host here in Non Sequitur News.
That's
in
me.
Gnome. Yeah, that's right. And nobody can see you wave. Sorry. Yeah, the digital equivalent of a wave. So the next article is in Non Sequitur News. 8-Bit Do, I think that's how they pronounce it, or 8-Bit Do. I don't know how they pronounce it. Now sells the NES-themed keycaps from its retro keyboard. And while I think Nintendo sucks as a company, I like the color scheme for this. So 8-Bit Do, or Do, is now selling a set of keycaps featuring the same Nintendo Entertainment System inspired design as those used on the retro mechanical keyboard it debuted last July, which I fought my urge to purchase. So I did not.
Yeah, I think we had it in Wanted.
Yeah. I was chomping at the bit to get it, but I bought a different keyboard, an all metal purple keyboard, and it's on its way. They say it's being sent finally 2.5 months later.
Hooray!
Well, anyway, it's a $50 set of retro keycaps. It includes 165 PBT keys, basically plastic keys, and with legends printed using dye sublimation for added durability. And that's where the ink turns into a gas and gets printed into the plastic. The expanded set allows the keys to be used on larger keyboards with like dedicated numbers and stuff like that. Oh my god, I want this so bad.
Oh, those are so cool.
Oh my god, that would look so good on the purple keyboard. Anyway, Andrew Lazuski put this article together for The Verge. $50 set comes with 165 keycaps. Yeah. Oh my god, that is so cool. Okay. Well, anyway.
Okay, they do look really neat.
They actually have a $99. Let me round up. It's a $100 mechanical keyboard, but it's only the shorter 10 key list layout. It might be the 65%. I'm not sure. So 65, 75, 80, 95, and 100% layouts. The new set will cover all of it. So you can actually get a 65 and then a separate number pad, which I've got in my other office, and I can get these keys and throw those on my number pad and throw those on the keyboard. You could do this, you could take them and use them on split keyboards as well. The only thing you'll run into is the space bar may not fit,
right.
because it isn't split. but they have one here and one here that might fit. Go ahead.
I like the A and B
That.
commands.
Yep, up, down, left, right, A, B. So yeah, I want this. This is something that I would easily pay $45 for. Anyway, they look good. So if you've ever seen a Nintendo NES color schema, then you're basically on board with this.
This is so reminiscent
Just
of
dead
it.
on. Yeah, I love it. Anyway, let's keep moving. The next article is over in Smack Talk, which is all about Apple. And Anker is recalling 2 popular MagSafe clone power banks over fire risk. Not sure exactly what is going on, but they pose a fire risk due to a manufacturing defect. And so if they heat up too much, they'll probably pop. And it says the notice posted to Anker's website reveals that Anker 334 MagGo battery, the Anker power bank, and the Anker MagGo power bank are being recalled. They say not to use them, don't plug them in, don't mess with them. Malcolm Owen.
Don't taunt them. Don't feed them after midnight.
Don't shine any light on them. Don't get them wet. Definitely don't feed them after midnight. Ugh. You know, I don't get that though. Because every day is after midnight of the previous day.
Oh, I agree. It's kind of ridiculous, but is that really where you can't suspend disbelief?
Well, everything else is real. I mean, the mogwai that I've had, when you get them wet, oh, never mind. I've said too much. So, yeah, if you have any of these A1642, A1647, A1652, which is so Apple in its naming convention. Naming convention. I'm surprised that Apple hasn't looked at Anker and said, stop it. Anyway, if your serial numbers match, I would not ask. I would say just stop. Unless you want to set your house on fire. Just stop.
Yeah, not worth it.
Yep. All right. We'll move on. Next article is over in Rounders Gear, which is all about table gaming and the gear and stuff, people, places, and things associated with gambling. I don't really gamble, but I like the gadgets. I like the idea of playing poker and stuff like that. I used to play it more, but not so much. But I still like table gaming. The hotel under construction near Allegiant Stadium hopes to disrupt the hospitality industry by using the power of AI to customize the living experiences of its guests. And if you already thought AI was learning too much about us from our phones, then the Autonomous, spelled OTONOMUS hotel. Autonomous.
Interesting.
Autonomous, it sounds like a hippopotamus. Hip-hopopotamus autonomous.
Right.
Anyway, get it? Isn't for you. So if you're worried about a AI-powered hotel, then this place isn't. It's apparently opening in January 2025. It'll be controlled by the Key. That's a proprietary app that lets you book the unit, check it, unlock its front door, and control its temperature through your phone. You can also use the Key, K-E-E, because they definitely want to trademark everything that's involved with this.
Well, why not?
To order room service to your e-butler, a 2-sided door allowing for contactless delivery. Oh my God.
But what could go wrong here? I mean, is AI ready for this?
I guess we'll find out. It's almost like Westworld. We're trending towards Westworld. 303 units will come with a full kitchen and living space. We'll start booking at $300 a night for our 1-bedroom suite. Up to 6 units can connect to each other, space allowing, and units can be rented longer term as apartments. That's why developer Growth Holdings refers to it as a part hotel. Is that like a
you get part of a room?
An analyst and a therapist is an analropist?
Yes. No.
Arrested Development. You slay me. The original Arrested Development, not the reboot. That was a failed attempt at seeking glory again. Anyway, AI isn't a new concept to hotels on the Strip. Most guests checking into MGM and Caesars properties have run into an AI-powered check-in kiosk. Guests at Aria can use the Alexa devices to control room temperature, lighting, curtains. That's creepy. It really...
Yeah, it really is.
I feel like it's
got to be watching everything in order to effectively do that.
Yeah, like I'm cool with it in the mayoral mansion. I'm cool with it not being like if I go to somebody else's place and they have this stuff, I'm cool with it because I'm not there perpetually. But going to a commercial location, I always feel a little skeeved out nowadays with the way just the burden of surveillance that exists. You're going to get scanned and analyzed. And anyway, guests who encounter AI are usually entertained by the concept at first, though many usually express concern about the human jobs it eliminates. Well, that's refreshing that people care. Wow. Businesses certainly don't. Yeah, by the time they're back home and new advertisements begin arriving on their devices, the novelty is worn off. That's funny. So the article is actually by Corey Levitan over at casino.org and puts together, it's a much longer article as opposed to what we just went through. But I think that it's entertaining. So I don't know, maybe go to Las Vegas when it's open, stay for a night, and then get out of there just so that you know what it's like to be policed by an AI. Or you could just get a bunch of smart speakers and put them around your massive estate and
that might be better.
Go from there. No?
Well, that might be better.
That would definitely be better. Okay, so this next article might freak you out a little bit if you've been around for a while. So the continuity report is where this has been aggregated into, but it's actually from Variety. Grace Vanderwaal grows up. I don't even like the title of this, but anyway, it's not on me. With new music and Megalopolis role, and that's how I didn't even know that she was still in the industry until I found out that she was in Megalopolis because of the ad. I saw the trailer for it, and I'm like, wait, she's still around? That's interesting. So America's Got Talent winner is coming into her own. Again, it's just kind of a gross phrase for me, even if it makes people really uncomfortable. So they're even cognizant of it.
Oh boy, this might be a little iffy.
Yeah. So 8 years after Grace Vanderwaal won America's Got Talent, people still see her as the bashful 12-year-old girl because nobody really saw her, I don't think,
other than that, right?
Moving from 12 to 20. Anyway, 12-year-old girl from Kansas who floored everyone with her ukulele playing and contemplative songs. I had the weirdest experience recently. Vanderwaal, now 20. Oh, I guessed. I mean, yeah, at 8 to 12. I can do math. Anyway, it tells Variety over Zoom from LA, the blunt bangs of her tween years replaced by, well, her new style. And so Elise Schaefer from Variety.com put this article together. And I actually saw her recently because she dropped a new video for a new song. And it ended up in my feed. And since I listened to everything from classical to death metal, this popped up. Probably because 8 years ago, and that's something weird, the algorithm started throwing 15 to 5-year-old videos into my feed, and I really don't like older information being fed back to me because I've already seen it, and I don't like being stuck in, well, ironically, when it comes to news, I don't like being stuck in the past. But so this is what she looks like now, right? This is from her video, her new video. So she says here, she was like, "You're a woman, you're a grown-up," Vanderwaal says, mimicking the tipsy fan shock. I was like literally gentle parenting her through this, but she wouldn't get over it. She couldn't handle it. because she doesn't look like the 12-year-old ukulele player.
Right, and the fans don't know what to do with her now, right? Like they think of her as a kid.
Right. And honest to God, I do too. When I saw her, I was like, this, like, there's cognitive dissonance here. Like, okay, you're an adult, but the last time I saw you, you were a 12-year-old girl winning America's Got Talent. And then bam, like out of the blue, I see the Megalopolis. Now I really want to see Megalopolis because it's kind of surreal. It's kind of like Poor Things, in terms of like the surreal trailer that exists. So they say, I've been so afraid to shatter that dream for people, but like, I want you to ask yourself, why do people feel personally affected? It is really sad, but it's been very liberating to reclaim that for myself. And that right there is exactly my point, my perspective about this. Why should it impact anybody? Like, actually personally, right?
It shouldn't.
I just thought that it was an interesting article because went from nowhere.
The timing
like,
was
just
certainly
gone,
interesting.
just disappeared after winning America's Got Talent, and then popped up in Megalopolis, which is really the only reason why she's even on my radar, is because of the Megalopolis connection. And then instantly the video popped up, and then instantly this popped up. So I had to pull it in here and talk about it. So great voice. I dig the music. I dig when she was 12 playing the ukulele. I liked the music, and she had a great voice. And it was one of those things where I was like, well, where did she go? She should be making some great music. But
right.
Maybe she still was, and I'd have to go and look at her YouTube channel to see if she was creating stuff, but completely off my radar. So welcome back, I guess. It says Perfectly Imperfect was the debut EP, which became a best-selling EP of 2016. Her first album, 2017, just the beginning, built on the folky ukulele-driven sound that captivated America. Ta-da! So,
well,
yeah.
good for her. I mean, she sounds good, and hopefully she'll continue to make more music.
Yep. See, and it's such a weird thing to see that people writing about this are very cognizant of it. She says she pitched the album several places and scared a lot of grown men in the process. Pulse was the only label that didn't back away from her ideas. I was saying crazy shit, and Pulse is just like, yeah, oh yes, we love it. Yes, that they were genuinely like, yeah, let's freak people out together. Well, all right. Anyway, there's a video out there right now, yeah, go and check it out. I don't think anybody will be disappointed by her performance in there. So, good luck.
No, I mean, she sounds really good. She still has an excellent voice.
Yep. Okay, let's keep going. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Everything okay over there?
Yes, I was trying to get you to scroll.
So the states with America's worst drivers, a new survey has shown that 94% of Americans consider themselves to be good drivers.
Newsflash.
They're all wrong. So the article is over at newsweek.com. Sue Kim is the author. Motorists in Hawaii ranked first in a survey of 5,000 drivers in the United States aged 18 and over for changing lanes or turning without signaling, speeding 20 miles per hour or more over the limit, and running a red light. The survey was conducted by Talca Research on behalf of Forbes Advisor based on data collection from June 24th to July this year. So that's the worst, right? Drivers in Hawaii are the worst. Tennessee,
in like a less than 2 week period.
Tennessee the best. Yeah. So Hawaii was followed by Oregon, New Mexico, Wyoming, and Alaska as the top
Wyoming.
5. Yeah, Wyoming.
What is that about?
they've come up before in like worst driver metrics before.
I know why it is. The horse and buggy can't keep up with the cars passing them.
Wow. Yeah. I suspect that it's the going back in time, and they don't know how that newfangled internal combustion loud thingy. Man.
Our apologies to anybody who's listening from Wyoming.
What in the world? Anyway, speeding less than 10 miles per hour the speed limit was found to be America's worst driving habit, with 39% of those with a driver's license admitting to doing so in the past month, according to the survey. Well, most like speed cameras, and it's indiscernible, but you can get 10 miles further down the line in an hour. So it really does get you somewhere. And most people can handle...
Yeah, it makes a big difference over a distance.
Yeah. And most people can handle 10 to 15 miles over the speed limit. The speed limit is set by bullshit. Like, a lot of people can drive 75 miles an hour as opposed to 50. But somewhere along the line, some scientists said 50 is the best. But that's an engineering, like, bullshit thing, you know? Oh, I don't know. Why don't we spec out engines and dictate performance better so that we get more gas mileage out of our engineering? But that's not what it is.
I also wonder if people in any given state would agree with these rankings, because, like, let's say you're in one where it's like, oh, these are really good drivers. Has that been your experience in those states?
Yeah. I think that there's going to be a lot of subjectivity there. So the worst driving habits are top 10. Hawaii, and it's from worst to least worst. What the heck? Anyway, don't. So Hawaii, Oregon, New Mexico, Wyoming, that's the top 4. And then Alaska, North Dakota, Connecticut, Vermont, Kansas, and West Virginia. Ugh. All right, let's keep going. Last article, and I'm probably going to go and investigate if I have any of these in the cabinet in the mayoral mansion.
You might need some.
This is in the order of the grape, which it really shouldn't be in the order of the grape. It should probably be in the order of the still. But anyway, of the still. And I have a whole process that I'm in the works of developing for evaluating something that is still or leaf or wine or beer or coffee. As soon as I've locked it all down, I'll actually be doing like reviews and stuff like that and posting them and talking about them in the show. But not right now. It might be not a Discord, a Patreon thing, but I hardly ever post even on Patreon right now. Anyway, the 30 best rums for 2024. As much as any other spirit, it's safe to say that the style of rum is for everyone. There is a style of rum for everyone. Kind of munged that, but nations across the globe have made it for centuries. I thought you were
making that pronouncement.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to vamp through that. Anyway, fresh cane juice, cane syrup, molasses, as well as varied fermentation and distillation techniques. They call it expressions, by the way. Expressions arrive unaged and uncut, matured but with color later stripped away, or following decades in casks, old and new. Some bottles are specifically produced for cocktails. Others, owing to the price tags that accompany them, demand to be sipped. Whether neat, on the rocks, or proofed down to the drinker's preference. Tourist. You don't proof anything down. No. If you're going to proof something down...
Isn't that what you do when you add something with water?
Yeah, that's a mixed drink. That's not proofed down. That's a mixed drink. Anyway, Tim McCurdy over at vinepair.com put this article together. What's up with this bottle?
I don't know. Is that for pouring? Like, it looks really odd unless it's like
It
AI
is.
generated or something.
I think it's a stylistic thing. I've never had this. RL Seals. Barbados rum. Sign me up. Ronzacapa is spectacular. But I don't have any of it. Anyway, Tim McCurdy over at VinePair put this article together. The 30 best rums for 2024. I kind of gave a little bit of this. It says those samples were sent to VinePair free of charge by producers, importers, distributors, and PR firms. They tasted each of them non-blind because we recognize that price plays one of the most important roles when you're shopping at the liquor store or online, and should therefore be considered when evaluating a product. Like right now, I'm looking for Torched Cherry Bacardi. So you got to look for it. You got to know what it is. Anyway, best rums under $50. 9 North Carta Blanca 4-year white rum, which means it isn't aged in a barrel or anything. It says that it's 4 years in second fill bourbon cask, but that means they're not torched. Oh, they use charcoal filtration to strip it. Okay, so that's why. If it's clear, it's either it's just stripped, or they didn't age it, or they use charcoal filtration to pull all of the stuff out, because the particles are what give it the color. And it's because it casks swell and shrink in the hot and cold of the cask house, barrel house. Anyway, so that's why it's clear, but it was aged. Europan, I guess it's called. Europan? Urapan, I guess. I don't know how it's pronounced. Anyway, single estate blended Charanda. My gosh, what is going on down there? Anyway.
Sounds like a bunch of mice.
I don't even know if I can go on. Okay, so there's a bunch in here. I have not even seen these. That's what's weird about this. Saint Benevolence, Rum, Claren, Traditional Spirit of Haiti.
From?
Caribbean White Rum is a celebration of column still Dominican distillate and pot still Jamaican rum. 10-to-1 Caribbean White Rum is what it is. Again, all of that is all stripped or just never put in a barrel. And depending on how, so you need alcohol to distill. So you have to do a fermentation process. And depending on what you put in that fermentation, those flavors come out. And that's why they call it an expression. Usually, I mean, you could sit there and throw in a bunch of alcohol and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and as soon as if it ferments, then even when it doesn't ferment, that alcohol will draw out the peanut butter, the jelly, and the maltiness of the bread, and you'll detect that subtly in the distillate. It's quite intriguing. So Kapali organic white rum. I guess the organic means what? That it's locally grown cane. It uses rainwater and yeast, but is it fresh yeast? Is it like open fermentation and anything can go in there?
I don't know. They have a pretty wide variety, though, at least based on the locations of these makers.
Yep, all of these are pretty broad source of this. So Jamaican rum from Myers Rum. Myers Rum is really good. Relatively inexpensive. It's the original dark. It's this one here, it says one of the better known names in Jamaican rum is the Reserve Expression. Comes in at around $5 more than the brand's more famous original dark, and those extra dollars are well spent. Get the Reserve. Transcontinental rum line High Seas. I wonder if they actually take it out on a ship, like there's that other rum that does
like that ocean cured or whatever.
Yeah.
Ocean aged, maybe.
Yeah. they basically take it out on a real pirate ship and sail around for a while and then come back. As the saying goes, what one rum can't do, 3 rums can. Sure, you can craft your own blends, but why bother when the fine folks at Transcontinental Rum have done it for you with this excellent mix of Panamanian, Jamaican, and Martinique distillates. Probitus blended white rum, Worthy Park Estate overproof Jamaican rum, which means that it's above the recommended proof, so it's even higher than cask strength. So 45 is regular rum, 50 plus is cask, 63 or 60 and up is like overproof. I think that's the rating. Diplomatica rum Reserva Exclusiva. I've never had this, so I haven't had a lot of this. Case 1 rum, aged in ex-bourbon barrels, 50% ABV rum, matures for a further 3 years in old line American single malt casks in Baltimore.
That's interesting because this is one of the few that we've seen that's not like a Caribbean location.
Oh yeah, huh? I wonder, well, does it start out? It just says that it
starts out in the Caribbean, then moves to the U.S.
Yeah. So, akin to old wine or cognac, that aging period comes across in tertiary notes. So, to use a technical tasting parlance, get out. Anyway, cedar, cigar box. Yeah, I don't know many people that, well, I do. Anyway, El Dorado 12-year-old rum. You're like, oh my God, that rum is 12 years old? It's got to be. Nope. Usually older means that it's better. But don't count on that. Just try a little bit of everything. You'll find something you like. Like I like Canoe. It's 12 years old. There's many others that are fresh off the still and they are delicious. Versus something that could be 18, 20 years old and it's horrible. Anyway, they keep on going. There's quite a few in here. Ronza Capa is probably the best that I haven't had the others, so I can't really say. But I've had this, and I've always liked it. Says that process leads to a rum with attractive and approachable aromas, sweet, fairly oaky, and with a pronounced mocha note. Similar story on the palate, and when considering price and availability, it's really attractive proposition. So $45. It has a 91 rating. But let's see. These are all under 100. 80 Clarin Vival, 53.5%. Privateer True American Bottled in Bond rum. There's a whole thing about bottled in bond. And I can't remember what that means. I watched a whole little history lesson on bottled in bond, and now I can't remember what it is. Anyway, depending on the rum, you want those molasses, mocha, caramel. I like a smooth rum, so one that doesn't lay me out on my butt.
So bottled in bond is basically, it's a standard and it has to be aged for 4 years or more, and it has to be at precisely 100 proof, and it must be by a single distiller.
That's it. That's the thing yeah. So it has to be that high proof. And it has to be it can't be a blend. It can't be sourced from somewhere else and bottled. It's your distillate. So, let's see what else is in here. Applin. We got to keep going. I could spend, I want to do a whole show on this.
There's 30, so I think we could probably zip through some of these.
Yeah, over $100. Rolling Fork single cask 12-year-old rum distilled in Jamaica. That's like your standard bottle right there. But anything from Jamaica seems to be spectacular, and it's largely because of the sugar cane.
Sugar cane? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's no, it's all processed right there. And depending on their recipe for the rum, hold on a second. I keep forgetting the name of this thing. Hold on. Keep forgetting the name of it. Oh, what is that stuff? Dunder. That's it. So it's depending on how they distill their product, all of the stuff that's like left over from a distillation, they throw it in a bucket. And when you build up enough of it, it openly ferments whatever might be in there. All kinds of stuff gets thrown in there. Some people like swear by throwing other things than distillation stuff, refuse in there, and it's called a dunder. And all of that drag that it's just supposed to be horrible stuff, you can actually scoop up some of it and throw it in the next distillation, and it basically carries a concentrated flavor onto the next distillation. If you do it right, you can maintain it like a yeast starter, and then make bread on a plane. If that doesn't make sense to you now, go back and watch
all of our episodes.
All of them. Anyway, so you can get a certain flavor. It says not as earthy and funky as you'd expect. The aromatic profile is fruity and floral. And depending on how they do it, they might use a dunder. This is Isatir, I guess, or I don't know how to pronounce it. It's from the island of Reunion. Put into a barrel in May 2006 and bottled in September of 2022.
I saw TA or something.
Can't go wrong with Appleton. Anything Appleton. I've never had anything bad from Appleton. Foursquare Rum Distillery Exceptional Cask Series. Amazon from Guyana. I get bottled in 1998. Is that really? No, it's just their name. That's just the Guyana 1998. It's 2 years old. Initially bourbon barreled spirit, transferred at 2 years old from tropical home to Europe, where it was then transferred to port casks. So, oh no, rum aged for almost a quarter century. Huh. Really?
I guess it was.
It is 34 years old. That's insane. Oh, and that's the last one. So, yeah, and I'm gonna have to go and look at my notes about rum and all of that, percentages and stuff like that. So, overproof and whatnot. All right, folks. Well, that's it. I'm probably gonna go and look to see if I have any Appleton Estate left over, because it's good, but I've got a bunch of options. All right, folks, that's it. So when you hear that sound, it's a cork opening. And we're back at the front page of ohmtown.com, where you can go and become a citizen. But that's it for us today. I am Mayor Watt, and the next voice you hear is that of the sentient AI.
Good night, Ohmtown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. We'll have another episode for you tomorrow.
See you soon.